Let's mess around with Kafka. There's a reason I saved this toward the end of the course. It can get a little bit confusing when we're dealing with all these different producers and consumers running at the same time together, so pay attention. It's easy to get lost here. First thing I need to do is start Kafka, and fortunately it comes pre-installed on Hortonworks, so all I have to do is go to Ambari, go to 127.0.0.1 and let's log in as admin. And now I can just click on Kafka over here on the service list and go to service actions and say start. Confirm, and that should start right up. Cool. All right, so let's mess with Kafka now that the server is running. So we have a little Kafka cluster of one going on here, if you will. Let's log into our Hortonworks sandbox as we always do through SSH. Maria_dev is our default account. And let's first of all see where Kafka lives on HTTP on Hortonworks. So let's go to cd/user/http/current/Kafka broker. And here's where all the Kafka binaries and configuration live. So if we go into the bin folder, we can see what's in here and have some fun. So let's first start off by creating a Kafka topic to work with and play around with. So what we're going to do is create a topic in Kafka. And if you remember, a topic corresponds to a specific stream of data. And then we can publish data to that topic and consume it and see how that all works. So let's go ahead and say /kafka-topics.sh --create. So that means we're going to create a new topic. Now, Kafka depends on Zookeeper to keep track of what topics exist. So we're going to say --zookeeper and sandbox.hortonworks.com, which is the name of our sandbox server here, :2181, which is the port that's running Zookeeper. We're going to say replication factor 1, since we only have one server anyway. Partitions 1, since we only have one server anyway. And now finally the topic name, let's call it, I don't know, Fred. It could be anything. Make it Squid if you want, I don't care. Just make sure you remember what it is. So now to make sure that it actually got created, we can say /kafka-topics.sh --list, and again it needs to know where Zookeeper lives to fulfill that request. sandbox.hortonworks.com/2181. And that should give us a list of all the topics that have been created on this instance. And in addition to some that I've set up earlier, you can see that Fred is indeed in the list of active topics in Zookeeper. So yay. We have a stream name, a topic name of Fred. Let's actually publish some data into it, shall we? So for that, we can use the kafka-console-producer.sh script. And this is just a sample producer app that talks to Kafka and publishes data on a stream to it. So, you might write your own app that does this, or you might have an app that uses this script actually as a gateway. So we can say --broker-list. So this specifies the actual Kafka server itself, sandbox.hortonworks.com/6667 is the port we're going to use because I know that's open. --topic Fred. Okay. Now what this is going to do is listen to standard input and broadcast any line that it sees on standard input on the Fred topic through Kafka. Now, since I'm not actually redirecting a file into this or anything, it's just going to listen to the console for keyboard input. So let's go ahead and kick that off. And now it's just listening for data. So I can type in, this is a line of data. I am sending this on the Fred topic. Okay, so what's happened now is we've published two messages to the Fred topic of Kafka. The Kafka server is sitting there and holding on to these. It's stored them, just waiting for consumers to, well, consume them. So let's do that. So let's open up a second console window here to our sandbox. To do that, I'm going to right-click on the putty icon and click on HDP again. And we will log in again as Maria_dev. So we have a second session going on here. So my other session, as you recall, is dedicated to publishing messages to Kafka on the Fred topic using the Kafka console producer script. So now I'm going to use the Kafka console consumer script to actually get those messages back. So Let's cd back into where Kafka lives, -user /http /current /Kafka broker /bin. And from here, I can run /Kafka console consumer.sh bootstrap server. And this is going to be one of the Kafka servers where we can figure out how to get the data from the topic that we want. And that will just be our one host that we have to work with here, sandbox.hortonworks.com:6667, same port that we published on. We also need to tell it where Zookeeper lives, --zookeeper, localhost :2181. And we can say we want to listen to the topic Fred. And we can also optionally say, I want you to give me everything from the beginning of time for this topic. So if I didn't say --from -beginning, I would only get new messages published to Fred. I would not see the two that I already published. So let's go ahead and kick that off and see what happens. I should see this is a line of data I'm sending on the Fred topic. Cool. So those are the two messages that we sent earlier from our other session. Let's actually see it working in real time now that we have everything connected. So here in this window, I have a Kafka consumer receiving messages on the Fred topic. And over in this window, let's just put them side by side, I have a Kafka producer sending messages on that topic. So I can type in anything I want over here, and it should show up over here. So let's say here is yet another line. And sure enough, it showed up over on the consumer window. So it may not seem that impressive just looking at this simple example, but when you think about how scalable this is, that's the key, right? You know, I wouldn't in the real world just be sending little arbitrary lines of data here and there. This would be massive floods of data coming in from like massive web server fleets and things, right? It can handle that and publish it scalably and reliably to wherever it needs to go. So that's really what it's all about. It's a scalable and reliable mechanism for publishing and subscribing to massive data streams. So very simple example there of it working. In our next lecture, let's talk about a little bit more of a complex example and actually use a Kafka connector to do something a little bit more fancy. Before we do that though, let's Control-C on both of these processes so we can get out of them. Cool.